What's up? What's up? Welcome back from Veterans Day, 3-day weekend. It's Tuesday, November 12th. This is the last check-in. Okay, this is not really the last check-in. We're going to check in one more time before I turn the grades in. But this is almost the last check-in. Okay, the end is near. The end is here, fam. We are actually upon it. So I do just want to point this out that we are having a journal check this week. We're having a journal check this week. Look right there. That's the stuff on the agenda. So last week and this week, that's all the things on the agenda. If you look, entry activities 15, 16, 17, we've already done all of those. We're just going to do 18 and 19 this weekend and then this week, and then we out of here. Total distance, displacement, independent, dependent, control variables, all the things that we've been going over, and then speed versus velocity. Those are the things that are out there. There's not going to be that much more. We might do a little bit on data tables. So we might do a little bit on that. So actually we will do some on that. So, but there will be a little bit of notes on that, and then that's really it. Okay, cool. So let's do this. We're not going to take time to do this here, but I want you to check it in. So I want you to do this last check. Whatever the grades you see in Canvas or in Aries right now, let me tell you, the grades that are in Canvas and Aries right now, those are your final grades if you don't turn in anything else. So if you don't turn in not one more thing, that is the grade that I'm going to submit on Thursday. So just realize that. So I'm like, go in there and check. If there's any mistakes, let me know. I'll fix it. If there's something you need to turn in, fix it. People have been like, oh, well, I didn't do this part of my CER. They've been doing that because they've been moving their grade from a D to a C, from a C to a B, from a B to an A. So I'm like, yo, you can totally do that. Some people F to a D. Good job. I'm like, yo, at least you're getting that. Even though the goal is C's or better, baby. C's or better. We got to be above sea level. We're not doing submarines. We're above sea level, okay, y'all? Matter of fact, I think I need to put that up in my room. Hey, in Mr. Farr's class, we're above sea level. That's what we trying to do. That's the goal. That's the goal next trimester. Hey, above sea level. That's what we're trying to be at. Okay. So let's just keep it pushing. Hold on. So again, take the time to check in. We did that in class, and we're not going to do that here. If there's an issue, I'm like, please bring it to me. You've got 2 days. You know what I mean? You got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. By Thursday, I got to turn it in. So bring it to me. I will get it fixed. Leave a comment on Canvas. If you're like, how do I do that? Click on grades, click on the assignment, and then leave a comment, and I'll fix it. Okay. So I'm going to be working on that. All right, cool. Now on to the next thing. I just want to work this. Make sure independent variable, that is the thing that goes on the x-axis, right? X-axis going horizontal, and that's the thing that you're going to manipulate, or the variable that you're going to change, right? Responding variable or dependent variable, that's the thing you're going to measure. So what are you measuring in this? Control variables, those are the things we keep the same, regardless of what's going on in the experiment. Okay, now for everybody, turn to page number 56. Again, page number 56. So what you should have here is a testable question already on page number 56. Now in that testable question, it should be, actually, you know what, let's pause this. Okay, we back. So a testable question, right? And if you look right here, and it should involve objects, their masses, forces acting on them, and their resulting motion. So there should be an object, there should be a force acting on it, and then what is its resulting motion from that force? That's what we should have done. So a testable question. Then I want you to take when we say a testable question, we mean something that we can actually do in the class. That's why when I gave the example when we were doing this, I was like, oh, if I apply 5 newtons of force to a paper airplane, how far will it fly, right? Or does the amount of newtons or force that I apply to a paper airplane change how far or how long it will fly, right? So that would be that. So let's just run with that question, right? Let's just run with that question and say, okay, let's just say that is my testable question, right? Then what is my independent and dependent variables? Let me get my pen in here, right? So my dependent, so I'm going to be like, okay, all right, my testable question is, the more force that's applied to a paper airplane, will it fly further, right? Or maybe I could ask this question. I think this is the one I want to ask is, will different materials, right, of a paper airplane, right, does the paper affect how far it'll fly with the same amount of force applied? So that's going to be my testable question. So my independent variable is going to be the type of materials that I make the paper airplanes out of. The dependent variable is going to be my actual paper airplanes that I'm actually, I mean, like how far they're going to fly. And then what are my control variables? I'm going to apply the same amount of force to each one. I'm going to do 3 trials. I'm going to measure them exactly the same as far as distance flown. My control variables also would be the location, so I'm going to do that inside the room. So if I have to make a list of materials that I needed, then I'm going to be like, what are the materials I need? I need different types of paper, right? So, and then I also need a way to measure it. So I need like a meter stick. I also need some sort of way to actually like launch it. So I'm maybe a rubber band. I'm probably going to need a spring scale, maybe some cardboard. Those would be like my list. So then make a list of procedures. So it would be like, my list of procedures would be like gather needed materials, right? So I'll gather the needed materials. Then what's the next thing I'm going to do? I'm going to, gather needed materials. Then I'm going to be like, pick a paper airplane design and then fold all of them exactly the same, because that's important. I don't want to have different designs of airplanes because that might affect flight time. So I'm going to be like, pick one design, and then that's the one I'm going to use for all the paper airplanes. So make my paper airplanes. Boom. Then once I got that, then I'm going to launch the paper airplane 3 times and measure the distance, then calculate the average distance. I'm going to repeat that step for all 3 or 4 versions of my paper airplanes. And then, right, I'm going to complete conclusion questions. Boom. So again, the procedures don't have to be mad crazy. Then I also need to somehow make a data table of some sort, right? So what am I going to do? So let's just look, we'll look at that tomorrow. So what I want you to do is try and run through this process for your, again, for your actual stuff. Try and run through the process for your testable question and see if you can get all through these things. Now, let's just go back and just say this. Look, you do not need to claim here. Boom. You do not need the evidence. Boom. You do not need the reasoning. We're not doing any of this, right? None of that. None of that. We're not doing none of that. So you could literally be like, all right, my testable question is here. Okay, number 2 is there with my independent, dependent, and then I can't write right there, control variable. And then maybe this would be my number 3 over here with my materials needed. And then number 4 would be my procedures. And then 5 is my data table, right? So you could literally do it just like that. Also, this is page 57. So if you turn to page 58, it's a blank page. So you totally could use that as well. This is procedures. And remember, I didn't necessarily spell this out. I did in the class. I'm sorry. Procedures are like instructions, steps, directions, procedures. Like, what is the procedure I'm going to do? What are the steps I'm going to take? What are the instructions I'm going to do in order to complete this? And then what was this one again? Oh, materials. Boom. So I could do it just like this, no problem. All right, and again, we'll go over this in more detail tomorrow, but for today, I want you to try it for yourself. Get as much done for yourself as possible, and then we'll go over it. I'll run through a practice one. I'll run through mine tomorrow. All right, bye.